Welcome to Reflect with Ed Fassio. Get ready to experience one of the world's first 100% digitally generated podcasts, where we take a step back, dive deep, and strive to learn new things. Join us as we unpack thought-provoking ideas, personal reflections, and inspiring stories to help you stay in the know. Reflect is brought to you by the minds at ByteBrain and powered by emerging technologies from Google, HeyGen, OpenAI, and 11 Labs. Thanks for tuning in. Now, relax and prepare to reflect.
Welcome to Reflect, one of the world's first 100% AI-generated podcasts. Today, we are diving into a realm where, honestly, the financial stakes are just astronomical. We're talking about these massive multi-million-dollar cloud commitments. Success, well, that's defined by really strategic governance. Failure, that means huge capital exposure. So if you're in an enterprise grappling with a significant Azure commitment, think $20 million, $40 million, maybe even $100 million MACC, this deep dive, it's your shortcut to making that huge cloud spend intentional, predictable, and fully strategic, not just reactive.
Yeah, and our mission today is simple. Clarity, laser-focused clarity. We're tackling the Azure Consumption Commitment, or MACC. Now, for anyone who needs a quick refresher, this isn't some vague spending goal. It's a binding financial obligation. You commit to consume a specific dollar amount of Azure services over a set time. And the key challenge, really, for every enterprise is turning the spending you already have to do into actual measurable cloud value that counts toward that MACC number.
Okay, so we're looking for the quiet advantage here.
Yeah.
That mechanism that lets these massive organizations fulfill this huge obligation without adding a single dime of unplanned spending. Because right now, let's be honest, for most big companies, the financial setup, it's kind of chaos.
Oh, it absolutely is chaotic, yeah. The core inefficiency we see everywhere, really, in large enterprises, is this major misalignment. It's between the critical tools they need and their financial governance. Organizations rely heavily on essential third-party software, what we call ISVs, independent software vendors, for everything, right? Data engineering, security, observability.
Okay, give us some examples. What kind of tools are we talking about specifically?
Well, we're talking the absolute backbone of the modern cloud stack. Think Databricks, Splunk, observability platforms like Dynatrace, maybe high-end security tools, Palo Alto Networks, for instance, data streaming like Confluent. These tools are just...
They're non-negotiable.
Right.
Can't live without them.
Exactly. But the traditional way of buying them, going directly to the vendor, that creates a serious problem cascade downstream.
Okay, spell that out. What's the actual technical and, maybe more importantly, financial consequence of buying, say, Databricks directly from Databricks, even though it's running on your Azure infrastructure?
Yeah, the consequence is pretty stark, actually. While these, let's call them outside the border tools, consume massive internal IT budgets. Because you bought them through a direct contract, they quietly contribute precisely zero, nothing, towards the company's Azure consumption commitment. So you end up with this really bizarre scenario. You've got critical workloads running, burning compute, burning storage, but the MACC meter itself, it remains completely untouched by that significant third-party capital outflow.
Wow. That feels like a recipe for a massive operational headache.
Yeah.
You essentially have two giant budgets running in parallel, almost fighting each other for leadership attention.
It creates completely unnecessary capital exposure. And look, if you miss your MACC target, what everyone calls underburn, you face potential contractual penalties. And these can be serious, like forfeiting committed, prepaid funds, or being forced into consumption you don't need just before the contract window slams shut. So the burn curves wobble all over the place. Forecasting becomes, well, a dark art. Leadership's asking for projections, finance is demanding clarity, and the cloud program office, they're left trying to navigate all this volatility with, well, as our sources sometimes joke, spreadsheets, dashboards, and a whole lot of hope.
Ah, yes. Spreadsheets, dashboards, and hope. The official motto of maybe every cloud finance department out there. I see. So they're basically stuck in triage mode, constantly reacting. But you're telling me there is a structural solution, something that doesn't need some complex technical integration or a massive internal political fight.
That is the beautiful part of this. Yes, the solution is actually already built into the platform architecture. It's there. But it does require a strategic mindset shift, a different way of thinking about procurement. The core mechanism is, conceptually at least, remarkably simple.
Yeah.
You route the spend you are already going to make for those essential third-party ISV products. You route it through the Azure Marketplace instead of buying directly from the vendor.
Okay, wait a second. Let me play devil's advocate. If I'm the technical buyer, am I getting some kind of lesser version, like a watered-down Databricks or Splunk if I go through the marketplace? Is this some sort of SaaS-lite thing with limitations?
Absolutely not. And that's the critical distinction.
Yeah.
It's the exact same product. You get the same service level agreements, the same technical roadmap, everything. It is just a different procurement path. What changes is the financial plumbing behind the scenes. When a customer makes that purchase via the Azure Marketplace, usually through what's called a private offer, that purchase suddenly becomes co-sell eligible. And crucially, it registers as eligible Azure consumption. It directly feeds that MACC meter.
Okay, that makes perfect sense for the customer. They benefit hugely. But what about the ISVs themselves? If these massive players, Databricks, Confluent, Palo Alto, are already successful, why would they bother pushing their deals through the marketplace? What's the incentive for the vendor in all this?
That's where the true win-win-win alignment really kicks in. It's quite clever. For the vendor, going through the marketplace, especially using that private offer mechanism, it dramatically speeds up procurement. We all know enterprise buying cycles can be notoriously slow, right? Months, sometimes longer. By making their products spend MACC eligible, they remove a huge barrier for the customer. The customer is now actually incentivized to buy faster to help solve their own internal MACC puzzle. Plus, the vendor gets access to Microsoft co-sell incentive, more marketing alignment. It helps them too.
Okay, so if we sort of synthesize this, the benefits are massive all around. The vendors get easier, faster deals. Microsoft accelerates Azure consumption, which is their goal. And the customer. They transform this potentially massive cloud obligation from a scary liability into something stable, predictable, almost NASA. That sounds like genuine efficiency.
It totally transforms the entire financial discussion, honestly. For an enterprise dealing with those huge multi-million-dollar commitments, this single strategic procurement shift, it fundamentally changes the financial dynamics of the whole cloud program. What once felt like this stressful, unpredictable treadmill, just running frantically to burn down a commitment before a deadline, it starts to feel more like a predictable map. Forecasting shifts from pure guesswork to becoming an honest, reliable metric. The future feels manageable instead of just mysterious.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting, though, for me. Because this isn't just about clicking a button in the marketplace portal somewhere, is it? This sounds like more than just a simple shopping exercise.
Crucially, no. You've nailed it. It's not just transactional. Our sources really emphasize this point. Marketplace alignment is not a shopping exercise. It's an architecture and governance exercise. You can't just wake up one morning and decide, okay, let's route all our Splunk spend through the marketplace now. It doesn't work like that. This shift needs deep planning, a cross-functional alignment. And that's precisely why the role of a really strong strategic partner becomes imperative. You need help navigating this.
Okay, so if it's an architecture exercise, then the partner involved has to be way more than just a procurement consultant, right? They need to be a deep systems thinker, someone who gets both the contracts and the code, the workloads. What does that comprehensive role actually look like in practice?
Well, they basically act as the coordination engine across the entire enterprise stack, both internally and externally. First, they look holistically at the financial landscape. What are the existing contracts? What are the renewal cycles coming up? What's the regulatory posture of the organization? All that groundwork.
Yeah.
But then, and this is key, they bridge that gap to the engineering side. They actually sit down with the technical leadership. They map existing workloads, maybe even plan future workloads, against MACC-eligible patterns and marketplace solutions. It's technical and financial.
And what about dealing with Microsoft itself? I mean, that ecosystem is huge and complex. That must require coordination too.
Oh, absolutely. It is complex. A good partner coordinates externally with all the relevant Microsoft teams. That means the account executives, the AEs, the specialist technical teams, and very importantly, the CSUs, the customer success units. Those are the folks focused on driving adoption and usage. The partner aligns the customer's whole technical roadmap with Microsoft's own incentives and field priorities. They make sure every dollar spent is tracked correctly and counts towards that MACC. And internally, they become finance's best friend, really. They help validate those burn forecasts, proactively eliminating that awful year-end panic we talked about. And they work directly with procurement teams, too, ensuring renewal rhythms are predictable, structured, and set up for MACC eligibility right from the start moving forward.
You know, the source material calls it the quiet elegance of this approach, and I think that fits, because the enterprise isn't being asked to spend more money, not a penny more. They're simply aligning the hundreds of millions, perhaps, that they already plan to spend, turning what was a reactive financial headache into an intentional, governable strategy. It feels smarter.
It is smarter. It's important to acknowledge, though, that while this is like the foundational strategy, it's probably not a silver bullet for 100% of all third-party software.
Yeah.
Highly niche tools, very custom solutions, those might still need a direct purchase route. That's fine. But for the massive core workloads, the ones using market-leading ISVs like the ones we mentioned, this marketplace mechanism should really be the financial default now.
And that ultimately changes the whole mindset, doesn't it? The entire philosophical discussion around that cloud commitment shifts.
Yeah.
When marketplace alignment becomes fully baked into the MACC strategy, the enterprise stops asking that defensive question, that, oh God, how do we burn this commitment before the deadline question?
Exactly. And they start asking the fundamentally offensive question, the strategic one. How do we leverage this existing unavoidable commitment? How do we use it as a powerful multiplier for our big digital transformation projects, for our AI efforts? That structural shift, seeing MACC not as a liability hanging over your head, but viewing it as a stable, predictable investment asset, that is the massive opportunity that awaits you, the listener.
And this kind of strategic guidance, it just becomes absolutely paramount as the whole enterprise landscape grows exponentially more complex, right? With automation, AI-driven workflows everywhere, the cost structure is only really going one way.
Yeah.
Complexity is increasing.
Yeah. Success in this new environment really requires moving past that constant triage mode. It demands partners who understand cloud economics and financial governance just as deeply as they understand modern cloud architecture. Yeah. They need both sides. This alignment of existing unavoidable spend. It's the foundational strategy for turning a potentially terrifying MACC obligation into a manageable, stable asset. It's really a call to maturity, I think, for how large organizations handle their biggest technical and financial promises.
So let's bring it home for the listener. Your organization's cloud spend, it's already massive. It's a huge, undeniable capital outflow. The critical question for you is not if you're spending that money, but is it strategic? Is it working for you? And the fix, it really begins with rethinking the governance structure, rethinking where that existing third-party spend actually flows.
Yeah, absolutely. The ability to manage MACC effectively, strategically, that's what separates the leaders from the organization stuck in that perpetual panic mode. So look really closely at your contracts, at your procurement processes, at where that ISV money is going. That's where the multi-million-dollar opportunity lies waiting.
Thanks for listening to the Reflect Podcast, where we're telling the future. Are you in it? Visit reflectpodcast.com and share your story.
In the cyber ocean of online voices and recycled content, something different has arrived. Reflect isn't just another podcast, it's the future of storytelling, powered entirely by AI. From curating data to assembling thought-provoking ideas, we've redefined how journeys are told. Reflect is a podcast that thinks, learns, and evolves with each episode. Every tale, every insight, crafted by the most advanced AI technologies. A podcast that disrupts the industry, breaking free from traditional formats, taking you on an entirely new experience. So tune in now and reflect. We're telling the future.